everywhere we go, people are kind, people are nice, people are polite. I know to someone who's lived here 20, 30 years, that may just seem like the normal way of going about life, but
hey guys, this is Erin. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn all there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Living in Richmond, Virginia for another local scoop. We are super excited to have Michael here today. Michael, thanks so much for joining us.
thanks for having me, Erin.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Michael, tell us what part of Richmond that you live in.
Well, as I finally confirmed and learned, we are in Tuckahoe, the far west end, excuse me.
Very good. And what made you pick that area?
You, primarily.
Oh, brilliant.
I think it was just that we gave you a pretty decent list of things we were looking for in the neighborhood. And I think right away you had a really good feel of what those were. And just you started narrowing down the neighborhoods. And when we went to look at this house, before we even got to the house, especially in my case,
right,
it was the neighborhood that sold us. It was just exactly what we were looking for.
Gotcha. Tell us a little bit more about the things that you wanted. What brought you to Richmond? What brought you to this area that we narrowed it down to the Tuckahoe West End area for you?
Okay. Well, what brought us to Richmond and then what brought us to the neighborhood are two very different things. But the neighborhood itself, we just wanted older, established in the sense of we wanted the landscaping to be more mature. When we moved here from Miami, Florida, our last neighborhood we lived in was, I hate to say this because it sounds terrible, but typical HOA, which is cookie cutter houses and a smattering of new trees and shrubberies here and there. And it just didn't provide a neighborhood-like feel. It didn't provide a canopy at all. And when we saw Rain Tree, it was exactly what we were looking for in the sense of lots and lots of mature trees. The expression I use is it looks like the neighborhood was literally carved out of a forest. They kept everything of the forest other than what they needed to build the houses.
And that is why we love Virginia, for sure. So you haven't lived here long enough. You may not be able to determine this, but we did do a little looking around before. If you could pick anywhere in the Richmond area to live and money was no object, where would it be and why?
This is actually an easy one for me. And I've noticed on your other videos, most of the people you interview seem to struggle with this, but this is easy for me because when we first started dreaming about Richmond and spent every night on Zillow looking around, there was a $6.5 million home right next door to Maymont Park on the river that was up for sale. Yeah. And I just said, if money was no option and we hit the lottery, that's where I'm going. Backyard, looked at the river. Your next door neighbor was Maymont. That just couldn't get more amazing than that.
You couldn't get any better. You couldn't get any better for sure.
Unfortunately, you couldn't find us anything comparable. But
okay. What the hell, Erin? You suck. You know. So we'll settle for the the weekend home for now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that lottery comes on in. Michael, I know you were talking about making the big move from Miami, and obviously you guys were probably looking around at a couple different places. What kind of narrowed you down to the Richmond area a little bit more?
We had a pretty extensive list of the must-haves, and then probably an even longer list of the would-like-to-haves. And Richmond checked more of those boxes than any of the other places we traveled to in the country. A lot of little things, I would say, Erin. We've noticed that cost of living, everything is just a little less expensive. Not drastically, not like everything's cheap, come rush to Richmond, but right. Across the board, everything from gasoline to homeowners insurance to just the cost of everyday things you have to buy. They're all just a little less expensive than they were in South Florida. And as you know, all those little things combined add up to quite a difference in your finances. That was one. We really wanted that mix of big city amenities, but small city community feel. And I guess You local Richmonders call it a mid-sized city, and maybe that's the perfect thing, but that's what it feels like to us, that we live in a smaller, nicer community feel neighborhood, but we have access to absolutely everything we could have had access to in Miami, Florida, which is, the city of several hundred million people. So it just really hit that combination better than any place we visited.
Very, very good. And I know that it was, you had sent me something that when you were really narrowing it down to different spots, something that had to do with there's crime statistics and the probability of things, which was really great for me to see as a local person. But I'd love it if you shared a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a worry that's part and parcel to me because I'm a security consultant by trade, and dealing with crime and the prevention of it is what I do. So obviously, when I'm exploring a place to move my family, lock, stock, and barrel, one of the things I'm thinking of is relative crime.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you watch local news anywhere, crime is media worthy, and they're always going to promote that. So just about any city in this country can look like it's got the worst violent crime going on. But the reality was, when it comes to violent crimes, the things that we should all be primarily concerned about, Richmond in particular, the Tuckahoe area, and even more particular, getting down to the Raintree neighborhood, the level of risk of violent crime was so low. It was literally off the charts in the other direction from anything I've ever seen in years and years and years of dealing with the risk of crime. And that just absolutely fascinated me because, again, we were moving from one of the most violent crime populated country or cities in this entire country. So that was refreshing to see.
That's really, really great. I love that you've shared that with me too. And like I said, you can live here and you can feel it and you can try to explain that to people. But awesome to see that it was tracking, like there were numbers to show it.
Yep. There's data to support that general feeling. That's for sure.
There you go. There you go. It isn't just a gut feeling. Michael, if you can think of some particular memories that you have of working with my team and I that you could share, I would love that.
Wow. That's easy. Just the comfort and feeling of trust. The elephant in the room that we haven't shared yet, of course, is that this is the first time in my adult life that I put an offer and purchased a home without ever seeing the home I was purchasing. To have to say that is a bit of a daunting task is an understatement.
Yes.
You could look at pictures on Zillow, you could read about a property, but until you're standing in the front driveway, until you're standing in the center of that home, you just don't know, is this going to feel like home? And the ability to have you and your team just sort of convey those feelings to us, and them being so accurate and legitimate that literally the day I got here, the first time I ever saw the home was when the moving truck arrived or when our moving convoy arrived. And the minute I walked in the door, first thing I said to my wife was, Erin nailed it.
I love it. I love it. So are you enjoying living up here or are you cursing me because of the leaves right now?
A lot of my friends claim that we're still in the quote unquote honeymoon period. So everything looks great right now.
Gotcha.
I don't think we are. I think we're very realistic people, both my wife and I. And, we've both moved several times in our life, maybe not across the country, a few states, but we're used to moving. We're realistic about our expectations. And I can honestly say that so far it's met everything that was on our list that we hoped it would. And we've found so much more that we absolutely love about it. I just can't say enough about everywhere we go. People are kind, people are nice, people are polite. I know to someone who's lived here 20, 30 years, that may just seem like the normal way of going about life, but it's not in many parts of this country. And experiencing that here is just absolutely amazing.
I love it. I love it. Well, we are so excited to have you and Kirsten here as part of the RVA local crowd. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's absolutely great to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you again, everyone, for joining here at Live in Richmond, Virginia. And remember, leave everything better. Once again, if this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video.